Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper. BK, have it your way, you rule.
Hello, I'm Uriah.
And I'm Amelia.
This is WOPR Wopr News, and without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Jace with the history of Henry VIII's wives. Then we have Amelia with Roblox.
Next, we have Hunter with the history of American football. Then there is Uriah with the Titanic.
There's Giuliano snowboarding next. Then there is Brighton with English Bulldogs.
And last but not least, Zach with World War III.
So let's get started with Jace, the history of Henry VIII's wives.
Thanks, Uriah. Did you know that Henry VIII had 6 wives? Or that Henry instigated the reformation of the English church in order to secure a divorce from the first and fourth of his wives? If not, stay tuned. Henry was born in Greenwich on June 28, 1491. Henry received a pretty good education. He was particularly strong in languages and theology. Henry became king on April 22, 1509. Before he got crowned, Henry married Catherine of Aragon. Catherine had been Henry's brother's wife. Henry got concerned because she didn't have any sons, which he really wanted one, so Henry divorced Catherine. His next wife was Anne Boleyn. Anne gave Henry a daughter named Christine to Elizabeth. Just like Catherine, she gave no sons. Anne died in 1536. Henry's third wife was Jane Seymour. Fortunately, she did have a son, Edward. Unfortunately, Jane died in 1537. Henry's fourth wife, Anne of Cleves, they got married in 1540. Shortly after, she was also divorced. Henry's fifth wife, Catherine Howard, niece of Thomas Cromwell. Thomas Cromwell negotiated Henry's fourth marriage. Catherine was beheaded in 1542 on charge of unchastity. Henry's final wife, Catherine Parr, yes, Henry married a lot of Catherines, outlived Henry. Thus, that ends Henry's life. Thus, this also ends this mini lesson. Back to you, Uriah.
Wow, Jace, that is a lot of wives.
Oh, trust me, I agree. It is too many.
And now we have Amelia's Roblox.
Thank you, Uriah. Did you know that Roblox pays people? Hi, I'm Amelia Taylor, and I'm going to be telling you about Roblox. 2 Americans started Roblox in 2006. Eric Castle and David Baszucki made it. They designed it to be a fun online game from Microsoft that allows you to play with friends and create games. You can socialize, have fun, and be creative. It's available on phone or tablet apps, on Xbox, or on the website Roblox.com. Roblox is available on so many platforms. It's become extremely popular in schoolyards, colleges, and wherever people hang out to play video games. You can get cool items, games, passes, and clothing wear too. Roblox actually pays people who make really popular games. The most popular games in Roblox are Adopt Me, Bloxburg, Pet Simulator X, Anime Fighters, Brookhaven, Maple Hospital, Doors, Meep City, and so many more. If you want to create games, you must log into your account on a computer. Go to your profile and read about Roblox Studio. Then download Roblox Studio. Next, go on Roblox Studio and pick your base play, like roleplay, comedy, adventure, or survival. Then you search on Roblox Studio what you want to add in your game and place in Builder. Repeat the steps of searching what you want, placing, and building. When you finish your game, choose the cover for it, the name, and add info and/or tips and tricks for your game. In Roblox, you can also make friends. Make sure you are careful on there, though. People can pretend to be kids and your friend, but just want to be mean, weird, and possibly hack you. They may ask for personal information about you. Don't answer. Block them, unfriend them, leave the game, and report them in-game, and tell an adult if you feel like you need to. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed learning about Roblox. Back to you, Uriah.
I didn't know that Roblox started in 2006.
Glad you know now, Uriah. Now let's toss it over to Hunter with the history of American football.
Thank you, Amelia. Ooh, the crowd cheers when Jerry Rice scores the winning touchdown. Football was first created in 1823 by William Webb Ellis, but then in 1880, Walter Kemp officially made the game. Then in 1920, the NFL was made. The NFL stands for National Football League. Football was invented by William Webb Ellis. He created football during a school football game. William picked up the ball, ran kicking it and throwing it. The NFL is not the only way to play football. The USFL and the XFL are downgraded from the NFL. You can also play in college and other leagues out of the country, like the Canadian Football League. Football is played in stadiums in all leagues. The normal-sized stadium can hold up to 50,000 people, but not Michigan. Michigan can hold up to 107,501 people, but the small stadium is in Peterson, Florida. It can only hold up to 25,000 people. Thank you for listening about the history of football. I think if you like football, you should maybe start playing it. That would be kind of cool. Back to you, Amelia.
I didn't know American football has been around that long.
I had no idea either.
Now we could sail our way over to Uriah with the Titanic.
Thanks, Amelia. Have you ever wondered what the biggest ship on Earth is? It was actually the Titanic, but it sadly crashed into an iceberg on April 14, 1912 at 11:40 p.m. It was huge when today's cruise ships were made. The Titanic was 882.75 feet in length, and the depth was 59.6. The biggest cruise ship on Earth was called the Royal Caribbean Symphony, which is 1,184 feet long, and the maximum capacity was 6,680. The Titanic had 3 decks, and the very top deck was for the first or upper class. The Europeans were considered poor, and they were in the third class. The Titanic was considered as a luxury ship. It had a golf course, 2 libraries, a gym, and so much more. It had 2 layers of steel, and no one ever thought it was going to sink. The Titanic set sail from Southampton, England, but crashed in the Atlantic Ocean. It sadly did not make it to New York City. Before, the captain received a warning that there were icebergs in the ocean, but still set sail. Then the fog and the dark got in the way of the captain's eyes. Boom! The Titanic was hit. There were 2,200 passengers on board and only 20 lifeboats. Some had to leave and some had to stay. More than 1,500 passengers died. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes to fully sink. Back to you, Amelia.
Whoa, I knew the Titanic was big, but it was that big? Cool.
Happy to know you think it's cool, Amelia. Next up, we have Juliana with snowboarding.
Thank you, Uriah. Did you know that snowboarding is a sport? Hi, my name is Juliana. Today I will be talking about snowboarding. First off, you are probably wondering who created the first snowboard. Tom Sims was a world-time skateboarder who made the first snowboard. He put a skateboard and skis together, and he created the snowboard because he could not skateboard in the winter, so he made the snowboard to use in the winter. Tom made the snowboard in the 7th grade woodshop class in Haddonfield, New Jersey. The first snowboards were made out of wooden planks that were flexible. Back when the first snowboards were invented, very few people bought them because they sold for $38. That was a lot of money back then. The first snowboards were made in Muskegon, Michigan. The modern snowboard was invented in 1965. The first snowboard was also invented on Christmas Day. Snowboarding is a sport that started in February 1968 at a Michigan ski resort. You may be wondering how to snowboard, so I'm going to tell you. First, you go down a hill that you feel comfortable going down. Flex your knees and ankles, keeping your knees tracked over your toes. Your shoulders and hips should line up with the rest of your body, and relax your arms by your side. Keep calm in the upper body. In conclusion, you should try snowboarding because you just learned a lot of information from me, and in my opinion, snowboarding is really fun. Back to you, Uriah.
That was awesome, Juliana.
I've always thought snowboarding was cool. I've just never done it. Now I think it's even cooler. I really want to do it. Now let's take a tunnel to Brighton with English Bulldogs.
Thank you, Amelia. Hi, I'm Brian. Did you know that English Bulldogs are domestic dogs which were first bred in Great Britain in the 1200s? English Bulldogs were originally trained to fight bulls, dogs, and other animals. In 1835, dogfighting was made illegal. They almost went extinct, but some people decided to rescue them and turn them into friendlier pets. English Bulldogs are short, muscular dogs that can be around 13 to 15 inches tall and weigh up to 15 pounds. They have short, flat hair and come in many colors, which could be red, white, brown, or a mix of colors. English Bulldogs make a variety of sounds, like snorts and grumbles, due to their smushed snout. English Bulldogs can have many health problems. Since their snouts are smushed in, it can cause breathing problems. English Bulldogs' big body and short legs can cause joint pain. Their wrinkles can lead to skin problems. Finally, the average life is around 10 years. Back to you, Amelia.
I love dogs even more now, but cats are still my favorite.
English Bulldogs are so cool, Brighton. And lastly, we have Zach with World War III.
Thank you, Uriah. In the 1970s to 1980s, the Soviet Union was booming. It was unstoppable. But when the Cold War ended, America won against the Soviets. Following these events, Ukraine became an independent country. But Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, was so power-hungry that he invaded Ukraine in 2022. Thousands died as a result. The countries of NATO were furious. They began sending weapons and supplies to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. But not all countries were on Ukraine's side. Russia has allies of itself: China, North Korea, Iran, and some others. China has shown some aggression to the USA. Balloons were spotted in the skies in Alaska and Canada. It is speculated that the balloons were listening in to the CIA's conversations. All of these countries in a big battle could be catastrophic. Nuclear detonations all over the world could cause nuclear winters and maybe the end of the world. Also, North Korea is ruled by Kim Jong-un. Kim is known for being really crazy when it comes to war. If his craziness kicks in, the results would likely be bad. But the true problem is Russia being way too power-hungry. World War III is closer than anticipated, but a way we can stop this is to come together and take down Putin. Back to you, Uriah.
Zach, that was so amazing.
Personally, I thought it was very informational. And that concludes WOPR Whopper News. I hope all you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed, had fun, and learned from all of our wonderful reports from Jace, me, Hunter, Uriah, Juliana, Brighton, and Zach, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Welcome to WKFC News.
Hi, today we have many informative news stories.
That's right, we have Becca on Colombia, Noah on hockey, Aubrey on raccoons,
Gianna on Roblox stores, Luke on Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, Evan on Ukraine and Russian war, and last but not least, Jack on sharks.
Now let's fly to Rebecca on the subject of Colombia.
Thanks, Evan. Did you know that Colombia is the largest producer of emeralds in the whole world? Hi, I'm Becca. Today I'm going to talk about Colombia. The capital of Colombia is Bogotá. Other important cities are Medellín, Barranquilla, and Cartagena. Colombia is east of the Oriental, so there are big reaches of torrid lowlands. Turns out Colombia lies almost entirely in the torrid zone, with mean temperatures of 23.9 to 26.7 Celsius. That's 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, almost every day. Also, the common terrain helps farmers grow a variety of crops. Thanks to those farmers, the leading exports are petroleum, ranking in first. Then there's bananas, coal, coffee, textiles, and flowers. The racial mix-up of Colombia is very vibrant. More than half of the population is mestizo, and there is unmixed European ancestry. Others are black, and there are indigenous and the Zambo. Also, 81% of the population is considered urban. The official language is Spanish, and most of the population are Roman Catholics. The money that they use is called the Colombian peso. Now, 2 fun facts. Did you know that Colombia has a famous gold museum with a collection of pre-Columbian goods? Another fun fact is that El Dorado, an airport in Bogotá, is one of the busiest airports in Latin America. Well, you've gotten your information. Now back to you, Evan.
Wow, I never knew that Colombia was so interesting.
Now let's skate over to Noah on some hockey history.
Boom. That's the sound of the puck hitting the ice. Did you know that hockey was originally called Calvin? Today I'm going to tell you about when hockey started, where it started, how to play it, and why it happened. Most experts believe that hockey began in Northern Europe. Hockey started because it became so popular that clubs formed teams. British soldiers staying in Canada organized hockey games on frozen ponds in 1870. The first hockey league was formed in 1885. The first official Olympic hockey game was in 1924 in Chamonix, France. Hockey is a sport with contact, a stick, and a puck. In hockey, you take a face-off. A face-off is when you go to the middle of the ice and the ref blows the whistle and throws the puck down. The centers who take the face-off battles for the puck. The goal for the centers is to pass the puck to the defense. The offense is trying to pass the puck to each other so they can score on the opposing team's goalie. The defense is trying to block the other team's offense from scoring. The defense can go anywhere, but be careful not to go offsides. Offsides is when the person with the puck passes the blue line and the person without the puck passes the blue line before the person with the puck. Thank you for listening to History of Hockey. Now you've learned when hockey started, where it happened, why it happened, and how to play it. Now back to you, Aubrey.
Wow, I didn't know that hockey had such a deep history.
Now let's hop to Aubrey with some cute but feisty raccoons.
Thank you, Evan. Did you know that raccoons stay with their mothers for 8 to 12 months? Hi, my name is Aubrey Kopaz, and I'm going to be telling you about raccoons. Raccoons are a ring-tailed mammal that is related to the coati. An adult is 16 to 30 inches long, not counting its striped tail. A raccoon's tail is 1 foot long. What do raccoons eat? People once believed that raccoons clean and wash their food in watering holes before eating it.
Raccoons have a natural urge to dunk their food in water. This is why people think they clean their food. Raccoons are good climbers, diggers, and swimmers. These traits help them find food in many places. Raccoons usually snack on worms, fish, frogs, crabs, acorns, snail shells, and fruit. Sometimes they eat larger animals such as birds and mice. Where can you find raccoons? Raccoons can live in many places. They live in woods, forests, and marshes. They also live in cities and towns. Raccoons in cold northern areas become less active in the winter. What do raccoons look like? Raccoons have a bushy black tail that has dark bands or rings. Their bodies are covered with shaggy, coarse fur that is iron gray to blackish color. They have a mask of black fur across their face, their eyes. Their bodies are mostly gray. They have small rounded ears and have a pointed nose. Fun facts. Did you know that they were discovered 25 million years ago in Russia? Did you know that raccoons give birth to litters of 2 to 5 kits or babies in the spring? Did you know that it's legal to have raccoons as pets in a few states? They require special care and caution. I hope you learned something about raccoons. Back to you, Evan.
I never knew that many facts on raccoons before.
I'm happy you thought that was informing. Now let's see Gianna on a popular game on the Roblox platform, Doors.
Thank you, Aubrey. Hello, I am going to be talking about the game Doors, a game in Roblox. Doors is about going through various generated rooms, opening the next door and the next door and so on, hoping to survive all the way to the last door, door 100. The first 100 you see, making your way through a dark, quiet, eerie hotel that is filled with harmful entities that want you dead. Rush, the second easiest entity in Doors. Rush is a fast entity that can appear randomly within the game. It may be possible for Rush to appear in a room with one or no closets. Hiding under your bed is another way to hide from Rush. Ambush is just like Rush but a faster version of him. He can spawn in randomly, kind of like Rush. Ambush will be screaming, so it's easy to tell if he's there. Dupe, perhaps a new hostile entity in the game. Dupe will hide behind a fake door and trick the player by putting a door number that is incorrect. Sometimes in dark rooms, the sign of the fake door will fall down, or the door the player came through. They might notice the door number smudged out. The last 10 doors, which is the greenhouse. The greenhouse is the main challenge before door 100. The player won't deal with Screech or Eyes. They will have to deal with Rush and Snare. Who is Snare? Snare is an entity that stays at the greenhouse in the darkness. Back to you, Aubrey.
Wow, I never knew that much about the door entities.
Now on to Luke on one of the most recognizable football players of all time, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thanks, Evan. Whoosh. Tom Brady throws the ball. It's caught. Touchdown. Did you guys watch Super Bowl LV? Did you know that Tampa Bay beat Kansas City 31-9? So let's talk about Tom Brady and his career after the Patriots. Following the 2019 season, Brady announced he won't be signing with the Patriots again. Grateful for his time with the Patriots, he was looking forward to a new challenge. On March 20th, 2022, he signed with Tampa Bay. Shortly after signing with Tampa Bay, he won the Super Bowl and played for one more year. In 2021, Brady helped lead Tampa Bay to their first Super Bowl in 18 years. Brady announced on February 1st, 2022, he was not ready to retire just yet, and that he would return to Tampa Bay and play in the 2022-2023 season. Brady returned to Tampa Bay and played for one more season. And Brady announced his second and final retirement and that he won't return for a 23rd season after finishing the 2022-2023 season. At the time of his retirement, many people consider Tom Brady to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Back to you, Evan.
Wow, I didn't know that much stuff about Tom Brady.
Now let's see Evan on the ongoing Ukraine-Russian war.
Hello, have you ever feared for your safety or even your life? Well, this is what adults and children in Ukraine fear for every day. Russia's at war with Ukraine, and they've been fighting for years. Hi, I'm Evan, and I'll be talking to you about the Ukraine and Russian war, also known as the Russo-Ukrainian War. The war began when the Ukrainian city Crimea was taken over by Russia in early 2014, starting a series of conflicts in the Russo-Ukrainian War. Over many years, there have been several attempts for negotiations and treaties, though only very recently, on February 24, 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin declared a full-scale invasion on Ukraine. Russia worked effortlessly to take over the capital, Kyiv. Luckily, Russia did not succeed, and Kyiv is a sanctuary for Ukraine and its citizens. Sadly, tens of thousands of Ukrainians and soldiers have died, but there are charities all over the world raising money for Ukraine and its people to help them and try to lower the amount of people dying. Though thousands of Russian soldiers are stationed at the Ukraine border, making it difficult to leave, and though you aren't in Ukraine, you can still help by donating to various charities such as Action Against Hunger, Prytula Foundation, and Raise Them for Ukraine, who help Ukraine and its citizens. I hope this news story has cleared some fog in your head about the war. Now back to you, Aubrey.
I didn't know that the war was going on for so long.
I'm happy you liked it. Now let's swim over to Jack on sharks.
My name is Jack, and I'm going to tell you some things about sharks. Did you know some people are catching sharks and cutting their fins off and throwing them back in the ocean to die? People do this because they think sharks are bad, but they're not. Sharks don't mainly attack humans. If they do, you probably were splashing, wearing jewelry, or you had dyed hair to attract sharks. Sharks will also attack you if they have eaten an animal that has eaten trash. Then the sharks go crazy. Sharks also attack because they're scared of humans. There are some things you probably didn't know about sharks. Sharks have 26 teeth on the top of its mouth, and then bottom it has 24 teeth. Behind those teeth are replacement teeth. Great white sharks are the only sharks that can jump out of water. Great white sharks can swim up to 43 miles per hour, and that's 8.5 times as fast as an Olympic swimmer. Sharks like eating sea lions, seals, and dolphins. I hope you learned something about sharks. Now back to you, Evan.
Sharks are so cool.
I agree. I hope you found our stories today informative.
This was Wkfc News.
Bye. Hello and welcome to Wtbc. What the Bing Chilling.
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm Lucas.
And we are Team WTBC.
Starting off, we have Ben with the positions in football,
Jasmine with pandas,
Becca with Brazilian politics,
Cameron with ocean pollution,
Mason with lacrosse.
Lastly, Lucas with pugs.
Now let's kick it off to Ben with the positions in football.
Thanks, Lucas. Doink. He misses a field goal. Hi, I'm Ben, and today I'm talking about football positions. First are quarterbacks and running backs. Quarterbacks take snaps from the center, then decide to throw the ball or to hand it off. Some of the best QBs were Tom Brady and Joe Montana. Running backs run the ball when the QB hands it off. They can also catch passes. Some of the best running backs were Adrian Peterson and Barry Sanders. Next are wide receivers and tight ends. Wide receivers catch passes from the QB. They need to run routes to get open. Some of the best wide receivers were Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. Tight ends do mostly the same as wide receivers, but also block. Some of the best tight ends were Antonio Gates and Rob Gronkowski. Also, there are O-linemen and defenders. O-linemen block the defenders from getting to the QB and make holes for the running backs. Some of the best O-linemen were Booth Matthews and Anthony Menos. The defense's job is to stop the offense by scoring and blocking and intercepting passes. They can also sack QBs and tackle players. Some of the best defenders were Lawrence Taylor and Deion Sanders. Last are kickers and punters. Kickers try to get points by kicking extra points and field goals. Some of the best kickers were Adam Vinatieri and Stephen Gostkowski. Some punters punt the ball on fourth down after the offense gets stopped. Two of the best punters were Johnny Hecker and Sammy Baugh. Thanks for listening, and I hope you learned more about football. Back to you, Lucas.
Wow, I did not know that Adrian Peterson was an amazing running back.
Now traveling to China with Jasmine and her pandas.
Thank you, Rebecca. Did you know there are two kinds of pandas? The red pandas and giant pandas. They live in the forests of China. These species are endangered. The Chinese government is trying to help pandas. It is against the law to hunt or kill pandas, because they're also trying to keep them alive. All pandas eat bamboo, leaves, shoots, and stems. Red pandas eat carrion or dead animals. A red panda weighs about 10 pounds. A giant panda weighs between 200 and 300 pounds. Red pandas use their tails for balance when climbing trees and jumping between branches. They can jump 5 feet from one branch to another. A red panda gives birth to 1 to 4 cubs. A giant panda gives birth to 1, maybe 2 cubs, but only one survives. Red pandas give birth in August or September. Red pandas are mate in April and May. The cubs stay with their mother for 18 months. Pandas are also nocturnal, which means they slumber in day and are active at night. A giant panda lives in the bear family. A red panda lives in its own family. The snow leopard and yellow-necked marten are the main enemies of the red panda. Personally, my favorite is the red panda. The red pandas are small like a house cat. Maybe I could get one, but it is the most unlikely because they are endangered. But you can still see plenty of red pandas and giant pandas in the zoos. But did you know that giant pandas can do somersaults? Well, you might see one do a somersault in a zoo. Who knows? Back to you, Rebecca.
I did not think that giant pandas could do somersaults.
Now voting with Becca with Brazilian politics.
Thank you, Luke. Lula, Bolsonaro goes the people in Brazil as they vote for president. If you didn't hear about it, 6 months ago, the Brazilian election was held. This election began on October 2nd after the previous election. The vote was between Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Jair Bolsonaro. Former President Bolsonaro lost the vote at 49.1%, while Lula won with 50.9%. Presidents across the world have given their congratulations for Lula, such as Joe Biden, Isaac Herzog, and Vladimir Putin. Winning the election was very hard for Lula because he has been arrested and sentenced to 22 years in prison. He was charged with accepting a condo and home improvements from companies bidding on government contracts. Meanwhile, it was easy for Bolsonaro since he was president for the past 4 years, or so they thought. Bolsonaro's past 4 years were scandalous. He was planning on legalizing drugs. He took a long time getting COVID vaccines, nearly killing 700,000 people. Mr. Da Silva has said, "We are going to fix the country, and you are going to be happy again," to voters on the run-up to Election Day. On Election Day, Lula at a victory rally in São Paulo, in his words, "They tried to bury me alive, but I'm here. Today, we are saying to the world that Brazil is back." I hope you learned at least something about Brazilian politics. Back to you, Luke.
Can't believe they switched the election for president from November to October.
Now let's swim over to Cameron with ocean pollution.
Thank you, Becca. Do you know how much oil is spilled into the world's oceans every year? Scientists estimated around 205 million gallons of oil spilled in the Deepwater Horizon spill in the Gulf of Mexico. From 1990 to 1999, 375 million gallons of oil entered the world's oceans. Back in 1984, when actor Ted Danson was just a teen, he was on his way to the beach, but when he got there, he found a depressing sign that said, "Do not swim, water is polluted." Ted Danson learned 80% of ocean pollution comes from our usual land-based activities, such as driving, mining, forest clearing, farming, and manufacturing. Microscopic plastic particles have sunk much deeper into the ocean. We think that a spot under the water filled with plastic is 4 times larger than the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. For the people who don't know what the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is, it's a 620,000 square mile or twice the size of Texas garbage blob. We need to stop ocean pollution by doing things like using metal straws and reusable cups and more. If we do things like this, maybe we can slow down ocean pollution. Now, back to Rebecca.
Wow, I can't believe that 80% of ocean pollution comes from our usual land-based activities.
Now shoot it over to Mason with the cross.
Thank you, Lucas. Hi, I'm Mason. Let me guess, you play a sport. But if you don't, then let me tell you about a sport that I love. The game is called lacrosse, a fast-paced game that involves a helmet, elbow pads, a chest protector, a stick, and a ball. The object of the game is to get the ball in the opposing team's net. There are many different ways to play. You can play club, town, or just for fun. But let's find out how it all started. Lacrosse is considered one of America's oldest sports. Lacrosse was originally created in North America in the early 1800s by a native tribe called the Cherokee. The Cherokee used the sport to practice for war. They called the game the little brother of war. They played the game by using long wooden sticks to steal the ball and shoot on the other team's net. Usually the game had around 1,000 people on the field. In modern day, the men's game consists of 10 people, including the goalie, in a 110 yards by 60-yard wide field. For women's, it's 12 people, 120 yards by 70-yard wide field. Thanks for listening, and I hope you learned something, and maybe try it sometime. Back to you, Lucas.
I can't believe there were around 1,000 people on the field back in the day.
Now let's fetch the ball over to Lucas with pugs.
Wait. Oh. Thank you, Becca. Do you know a lot about pugs? Did you know that pugs are one of the best family dogs? Hi, my name is Lucas Newcomb, and I'm going to talk about pugs, one of the greatest dog breeds of all time. Pugs were first bred in China and Tibet in 400 BC, but they were mostly owned in Japan and Europe. That means that pugs were bred almost 2,500 years ago. This also makes them one of the oldest dog breeds to ever exist. Many royal people and families own pugs as pets. Pugs are the largest out of all the toy dogs in the world. A pug's average lifespan is about 12 to 15 years. They have small, short bodies with rounded heads, their muzzles are short, their faces are wrinkled, and they have big eyes with tiny ears. Male pugs can be up to 12 to 14 inches, and female pugs can be up to 10 to 12 inches. A pug's average weight is 14 to 18 pounds. Pugs may be small, but they are amazing watchdogs, which makes them great with children. Pugs can communicate by their emotions. For example, they can communicate by the position of their ears and tails, as well as how they stand or lie down. Pugs identify each other by their scents. When it comes to female pugs being pregnant, the process goes on for about 3 weeks and it happens about twice a year. When they give birth, it's called whelping. The puppies are born both blind and deaf. The eyes of a pug open after 10 days and the puppies can hear after 21 days. Their baby teeth develop after 2 to 3 weeks. They are weaned after 6 weeks, which means that they no longer need the milk from their mothers anymore. The adult teeth are welcomed in after 4 to 6 months. Pugs are fully grown at the age of 2. Pugs are very unique dog breeds, right? Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned lots of new facts about pugs today. Now back to you, Becca.
Wow, pugs can communicate by their emotion? That's crazy.
That's all from Wtbc, and we hope you learned something today.